I'm going to play for you 2 videos on 2 young men who refused to do the Pledge of Allegiance. You know that the power of life and death is in your tongue. Remember that. So you're pledging your allegiance to this nation and the God of this flag and of this nation. It shouldn't be a surprise to you that the founding fathers of this nation were and still are Freemason. And the God they serve, the Star God, Star Spangled Banner. I'm not too sure how to pronounce these names, guys. You had taken along Shaku, your king, and K1, your star god, the idols you had made for yourself, the star god, Saturn, as in the black cube of Saturn. The 3 big monotheistic religions lead to Saturn, which happens to be Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. These religions are better known as the Abrahamic religions. The covenant was not made with Abraham and Hagar. That union produced Ishmael, and these religions came from Ishmael. The covenant was made with Abraham and Sarah and Isaac. What is the message of the pledge? One nation under God. And because all roads lead to Rome. What you're looking at is a Roman salute. The 3 countries that run the world are Washington, D.C., Vatican, and London, better known as the District of Columbia. Washington and Rome are sister cities. Haven't you noticed how much their buildings mirror each other? So back to the Pledge of Allegiance. At one time, the Bellamy salute was accompanied when doing the Pledge of Allegiance. So we went from that to the hand over the heart. We also use scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful, but within are full of dead people's bones and all uncleanliness. Notice how the Vatican is whitewashed, the catacombs of Rome full of dead men's bones. You are like unto white sepulchres, which indeed appear beautifully outward, but are within full of dead men's bones. Sepulchre, a small room or monument, cut in a rock or built of stone, in which a dead person is laid or buried. The church a holy sepulchre, whitewashed, the site of Joshua's crucifixion and burial. And this is not correct because Joshua died in Syrian Africa. It's in the scriptures. And a Muslim family just happens to have the keys to this holy site. What a coincidence. More whitewashed buildings. The Abrahamic family house. That so happens to be shaped like cubes. Nice pyramid on top. Filled with dead men's bones.
Oh, you are going to have some thoughts on this one. So I guess this school teacher here is mad because the student won't stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
And you are going to sit there on your butt. Don't shake your leg. When you do something, I'll defend my country to the very end. Then go back to where you're from, Mexico or Guatemala, or you're born here. And you won't stand up for the flag.
First of all, why does it feel like he's challenging him to a fight?
When you do something,
And then, like, telling him to go back to Mexico?
I'll defend my country to the very end.
Defend the country from what? A disobedient teenager? I stick up for school teachers all the time, but this guy has no business being a teacher. Okay, I know you're going to be mad at me because this is a very unpopular opinion in the U.S., but the Pledge of Allegiance is stupid. And expecting students to pledge their loyalty to the country every morning before school? That's some North Korea shit. It's super outdated. And yet we do it every day in nearly every public school. And yeah, I know, what about loving your country? Sure, but like you can do that without all the weird pageantry. Stand up and cover your heart and say the words. It's stupid. And I personally think kids shouldn't be pressured to do it.
I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm hurt. More so for my son. My son has never been through anything like this, and I feel like they should have handled this differently.
Polk County Public School District is now saying the student was not arrested for refusing to stand for the pledge, but says this boy was arrested for choosing to disrupt the class and making threats after he refused to stand up during the Pledge of Allegiance.
I want the charges dropped, and I want the school to be held accountable and the officer for what happened, because it shouldn't have been handled the way that it was handled.
Salute is the salute described by Francis Bellamy, Christian socialist minister and author, to accompany the American Pledge of Allegiance, which he had authored. During the period when it was used with the Pledge of Allegiance, it was sometimes known as the flag salute. Later, during the 1920s and 1930s, Italian fascists and Nazis adopted the salute which had the same form, and which was derived from the Roman salute. This resulted in controversy over the use of the Bellamy salute in the United States. It was officially replaced by the hand-over heart salute when Congress amended the flag code on December 22, 1942. History: the inventor of the Bellamy salute was James Buffum, Jr., partner and editor of the Youth's Companion. Bellamy recalled Buffum, upon reading the pledge, came into the posture of the salute, snapped his heels together, and said, "Now up there is the flag. I come to salute. As I say I pledge allegiance to my flag, I stretch out my right hand and keep it raised while I say the stirring words that follow." The Bellamy salute was first demonstrated on October 12, 1892 according to Bellamy's published instructions for the National School celebration of Columbus Day. The initial civilian salute was replaced with a hand-on-heart gesture, followed by the extension of the arm as described by Bellamy. Though the instruction called for the palm to be up, many found this awkward, and performed it with the palm down. In the 1920s, Italian fascists adopted what they called the Roman salute to symbolize their claim to have revitalized Italy on the model of ancient Rome. This was quickly copied by the German Nazis, creating the Nazi salute. The similarity to the Bellamy salute led to confusion, especially during World War II. From 1939 until the attack on Pearl Harbor, detractors of Americans who argued against intervention in World War II produced propaganda using the salute to lessen those Americans' reputations. Among the anti-interventionist Americans was aviation pioneer Charles Lindbergh. Supporters of Lindbergh's views would claim that Lindbergh did not support Adolf Hitler, and that pictures of him appearing to do the Nazi salute were actually pictures of him using the Bellamy salute. In his Pulitzer Prize-winning biography Lindbergh, author A. Scott Berg explains that interventionist propagandists would photograph Lindbergh and other isolationists using this salute from an angle that left out the American flag, so it would be indistinguishable from the Hitler salute to observers. In order to prevent further confusion or controversy, the United States Congress instituted the hand-over-the-heart gesture as the salute to be rendered by civilians during the Pledge of Allegiance in the United States, instead of the Bellamy salute.
I'm going to forgive you guys if you've been distracted by the mass chaos in the United States. UFOs, railroad disasters, and everything on fire. But in Abu Dhabi in the UAE, the Abrahamic Family Faith House just opened. The three major religions in the world, all coming together and worship in one place. And if you're without discernment, you might think this is a good thing. JT, what's wrong with peace? Well, in Thessalonians it says, when they're saying peace and safety, that's when sudden destruction comes, and they won't be able to escape it. Because what this really is one step closer to a new temple in Jerusalem, on the Temple Mount. And when they build that temple in Jerusalem, it's not going to be for the God of Abraham. It's going to be for the Antichrist. Guys, don't be deceived. Check out this commercial promoting this thing. Check out the symbolism here. So here you have the young lady representing the Catholics. We have the older boy representing Islam. The youngest boy representing Judaism. There's your pyramid, Semiramis, Nimrod, Tammuz. Or you could say Isis, Osiris, and Horus. As Jesus once said to the Pharisees, if they were children of Abraham, they'd be doing the same works as Abraham. But they're not.
Since we're on the topic of Washington, D.C., because his name is D.C. Young Fly, you know, it reminded me of the symbolism that they have in Washington, D.C. As you can see, the Washington, D.C. street layout has an upside-down pentagram pointing at the White House. And then when you look at Capitol Hill, you know, where the U.S. Capitol is located, if you look at it from the top, you can see that it makes the shape of an owl. And they do a lot of owl symbolism. You know, Drake's symbol is the owl. And they have a statue of an owl at the Bohemian Grove. And there's also an owl hidden on the front of the dollar bill. As you can see, it's very small. But if you look closely, you can see it. And speaking of the dollar bill, I showed you guys some pictures of a creepy looking creature that is hidden on the dollar bill. You know, when you fold the dollar bill and you put two of them together, you can see this weird creature that is smiling with sharp teeth, and it's like a very sinister smile. Here's a better look so you guys can see it, and you could even try this yourself. This is a very real picture that is coded in the dollar bill, and there's many things that they've hidden in the dollar bill. Even this part of the dollar bill looks like an alien, and all of this is representing the evil entities that these celebrities are. They're not human. You know, this is why we have many names for them, like fallen angels, demons, shapeshifters, etc. They're all analogies to the evil entities that they are, because they're definitely not human.
From darkness to light. Check that out. Look, we have alchemy, Eastern Star, Baphomet.
And then we get page 33. The Holy Bible starts on page 33. Could that be a coincidence? The Holy Bible starts on the 33rd page of the Masonic Bible.
And they say that the source of this symbol it's an important symbol borrowed from the Freemasons from the nations of antiquity, or rather iniquity is what the Bible would call it. Among the Egyptians, Osiris, their chief deity, was symbolized by an open eye. Really now. So that's what we should use for the God of the Bible, huh? Sounds like Bell worship, guys. The eyes of Jehovah are in every place, beholding and watching the evil and the good. It is the symbol of omnipresent deity. He who introduces light into the lodge must be a worthy man and experienced in the craft.
Legend of the craft, legend of the temple.
My name on the Masonic and the Order of the Eastern Star, the Baphomet there.
Photo of George Washington's sash worn in the Revolutionary War at the time he resigned his commission in 1783. Oh boy. The building of Solomon's Temple. Oh look, this is George Washington's Masonic apron. Oh, look at that. George Washington. Okay. Oop, Thomas Jefferson. James Madison. Check it out. James Monroe. Andrew Jackson.
Here you have Masonic presidents of our country. Masonic presidents. I'll zoom in here so you can read a little bit better. George Washington, Mason. Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, Andrew Jackson, James Knox Polk, James Buchanan, Andrew Johnson, James Garfield, William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, Warren Gamaliel Harding, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry S. Truman, Gerald Ford, the fatherhood of God, the brotherhood of man. There you have George Washington with a nice all-seeing eye radiating down over the White House. Nice imagery there. The white apron there is made of lamb's wool, and it symbolizes the veil that veils the Holy of Holies from the God of Masonry, which is right directly behind the veil. Excuse me there, I have to point there. That's the God of Masonry.
Why are American churches so weird? So this is a church men's retreat sponsored by James River Church in Springfield, Missouri. What in the Team America are they trying to accomplish here? Is this church sponsored by WrestleMania? I must have forgot the part of the Bible where Jesus said unto him, America! Yeah! Okay, but here's the absolute craziest part of that church. So I did a little research. A few months back, that same church claimed that they were able to heal one of their church members through prayer. So this woman had some toes amputated, and this church claimed that they were able to grow back those missing toes through prayer. Like those toes grew back overnight, allegedly. And this story went viral because people couldn't believe it. They're like, wow, prayer from your church grew back a woman's missing toes? That sounds completely made up.
What a crock of shit.
And the church's pastor had to get on camera and defend this story as if it's not bullshit. And did they give us any evidence of this woman's toes growing back overnight? No, they did not. They very openly refused to do that. So on one hand, this church makes shit up. But on the other hand, they got really cool tanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Christian Americans, it's my very great privilege to welcome you to another mass demonstration sponsored by the German-American Bund.